Welcome, dear friend. Tonight, as you settle into a quiet place and let the world slow down around you, we will travel back to a different time. A time when the oceans were filled with magnificent ships, and every journey across the Atlantic carried the promise of a new beginning. This is the story of the Titanic. Long before she became one of the most remembered ships in history, she was simply an extraordinary dream. A dream imagined by talented engineers, skilled builders, and thousands of hard-working people who believed they could create something the world had never seen before. Our story begins more than 100 years ago, in the early years of the 20th century. It was an age of invention. Cities were growing larger every year. Factories buzzed with life from sunrise until sunset. Steam engines powered trains across the countryside, and giant ships carried families, workers, and travelers from Europe to North America. For many people, America represented hope. It was a place where new jobs could be found, where families could begin again, and where dreams felt just a little closer than they had before. Every week, thousands of passengers crossed the Atlantic Ocean. Some traveled in beautiful first-class cabins filled with luxury. Others carried only a single suitcase and a hopeful heart. No matter who they were, they all shared the same endless ocean. At that time, two great shipping companies competed to build the finest passenger ships in the world. Each company wanted to offer something larger, safer, and more comfortable than ever before. Instead of creating only the fastest ship, one company imagined something different. What if, they asked, we built the most beautiful ship the world has ever known? That simple question became the beginning of an incredible journey. Designers spread enormous blueprints across wooden tables. Engineers carefully measured every room, every hallway, and every staircase. Artists sketched elegant dining rooms glowing beneath sparkling lights. Every detail was planned with patience and care. The future ship would carry thousands of passengers while offering comfort that few people had ever experienced at sea. There would be warm reading rooms where travelers could enjoy a quiet book. Grand staircases decorated with polished wood and shining glass. Fine restaurants serving delicious meals from morning until evening. Large decks where families could breathe the fresh ocean air and watch endless blue waves stretching toward the horizon. The ship would even have electric lights throughout its cabins, something that still felt wonderfully modern at the time. People began talking about this remarkable project long before the first piece of steel was ever placed together. Newspapers printed exciting stories. Children looked at drawings and imagined sailing across the ocean. Adults wondered if such an enormous ship could truly become a reality. The excitement spread from town to town, across countries, and eventually across the world. Yet behind every exciting newspaper headline stood thousands of ordinary workers. Men who woke before sunrise. Craftsmen who shaped steel with powerful tools. Builders whose hands became rough from years of honest work. Each person added one small piece to a dream that seemed almost impossible. None of them could fully imagine how famous their work would one day become. For now, it was simply another morning. Another day of building. Another step toward creating the greatest passenger ship anyone had ever imagined. And somewhere far beyond the busy shipyard, the calm Atlantic Ocean waited patiently. Its gentle waves rose and fell beneath quiet skies, keeping secrets that no one could yet understand. The ocean had welcomed countless ships before. Soon, it would welcome one more. A ship named Titanic. As the days turned into weeks, the dream grew stronger. In the busy city of Belfast, Northern Ireland, one of the world's largest shipyards became the home of an extraordinary idea. Every morning, before the sun had fully risen, workers walked through the great gates with lunch pails in their hands and hope in their hearts. Some were steelworkers. Some were carpenters. Some were engineers who spent long hours studying drawings and solving difficult problems. Others were young apprentices, eager to learn a trade that could support their families for many years to come. Each person had a different job, but together they shared one purpose. They were building something that had never existed before. Standing inside the shipyard, they could already imagine the enormous vessel stretching far beyond the docks. The sound of hammers echoed through the cool morning air. Sparks danced like tiny stars as metal was carefully shaped into place. Slowly, piece by piece, the great ship began to take form. It was not built in a single day or even a single season. It took patience. It took skill. And above all, it took thousands of people working together. The designers wanted every passenger to feel welcome, no matter which ticket they held. First-class travelers would enjoy elegant rooms with beautiful furniture, quiet libraries, and grand dining halls filled with warm light. Second-class passengers would find comfortable cabins that many people considered better than first-class accommodations on other ships. Even third-class families, many of whom were beginning a new life in America, would have clean rooms, fresh meals, and places where children could laugh and play during the long journey. It was a remarkable idea for its time. Every hallway, every window, every staircase was planned with care. The builders believed that comfort mattered just as much as size. As the months passed, the growing ship became impossible to ignore. People living nearby often paused to admire its towering frame. Visitors came from distant towns simply to catch a glimpse of the giant taking shape beside the water. Children pointed toward the unfinished ship with wide eyes. Parents smiled and wondered what it would be like to sail across the Atlantic aboard such a magnificent vessel. Newspapers continued to share exciting stories. Some writers called it a masterpiece of engineering. Others described it as the future of ocean travel. The excitement spread across Europe and reached the shores of America, where many people dreamed of seeing the great ship arrive one day. Yet inside the shipyard, life remained simple. The workers focused on one task at a time. One beam. One plate of steel. One carefully placed rivet. Day after day, they built with quiet determination, never rushing, always striving to do their very best. As evening arrived, the sounds of construction slowly faded. The setting sun painted the sky with gentle shades of gold and orange. The unfinished ship stood peacefully against the horizon, growing a little larger with each passing day. No one could know what the future would hold. For now, there was only hope. Hope in the hands of the builders. Hope in the dreams of future passengers. And hope carried softly on the cool evening breeze that drifted across the quiet harbor. The greatest ship in the world was no longer just an idea. It was becoming real. The seasons quietly passed, and with each new sunrise, the great ship stood a little taller. What had once existed only on paper was now becoming a breathtaking reality. From a distance, people could see its enormous steel frame rising above the Belfast skyline. It seemed almost too large to believe, as if a floating city had appeared beside the water. The workers often paused for just a moment at the end of a long day. They would wipe the dust from their hands, look up at the growing ship, and smile with quiet pride. Few of them would ever sail aboard her. Yet every bolt they tightened, every beam they lifted, and every hour they spent would become part of a story remembered for generations. Soon, the ship received her name. Titanic. The name sounded powerful, strong, and unforgettable. It reflected the builders' confidence that this would be one of the greatest passenger ships the world had ever known. Across Europe and America, newspapers printed the name in large, bold letters. People spoke about the Titanic in cafes, train stations, schools, and family homes. Some dreamed of booking a ticket for her first voyage. Others simply wished to see the magnificent ship with their own eyes. There was something magical about the idea. A ship that could carry thousands of people across the wide Atlantic Ocean in comfort and elegance. A ship filled with music, warm meals, friendly conversations, and the promise of new beginnings. For many families, the Titanic represented more than transportation. It represented hope. Hope for a better future. Hope for new opportunities. Hope for a life waiting on the other side of the ocean. As the final details were carefully completed, skilled craftsmen polished beautiful wooden walls until they shone in the light. Soft carpets were laid across long hallways. Elegant clocks were placed on grand staircases. Bright windows welcomed the morning sun. Every room seemed ready to greet its future guests. Outside, the harbor remained calm. Seagulls drifted through the cool sea air. Gentle waves touched the docks with a quiet rhythm, as though the ocean itself was patiently waiting. No one could hear what tomorrow would bring. No one could see beyond the horizon of time. They simply believed they had created something extraordinary. And in many ways, they had. The Titanic was not only a ship of steel and steam. She was built from human imagination, determination, and countless hours of honest work. Every person who helped build her left behind a small piece of themselves. Their effort, their skill, and their dreams became part of the ship's story forever. As evening settled over Belfast, golden sunlight slowly faded into a sky filled with gentle stars. The ship rested quietly beside the harbor, ready for the next chapter of her remarkable journey. Soon, passengers from many different places would begin arriving. Some would bring expensive luggage. Others would carry only a small suitcase and a hopeful heart. Children would laugh with excitement. Parents would dream about fresh beginnings. Friends would wave goodbye from the docks. And the mighty Titanic would prepare to sail into history. But that is a story for another peaceful night. So, as the sea grows calm and the stars shine softly above, let your thoughts drift like gentle waves across the Atlantic. Close your eyes, take one slow, peaceful breath, and imagine the quiet harbor sleeping beneath the moonlight. For the greatest voyage in the world is about to begin. End of Chapter 1. Next chapter, Building the Giant. Welcome back, dear friend. Tonight, let us return to the peaceful shipyards of Belfast, where the morning air is cool, the sky is painted with soft shades of blue, and the quiet waters gently reflect the light of a new day. The city is just beginning to wake. Shopkeepers unlock their doors. Bakers prepare warm bread for the morning crowd. Steam rises from chimneys, drifting slowly into the calm sky. And not far from the heart of the city stands one of the busiest places in the world, the Great Harland and Wolff Shipyard. Before the first rays of sunlight reach the towering cranes, thousands of workers walk through the wide gates. Some greet old friends with a smile. Others quietly enjoy the peaceful morning before another long day begins. Each of them knows they are helping to build something extraordinary. The sound of footsteps soon gives way to the gentle rhythm of honest work. Hammers tap against steel. Rivets are carefully placed. Powerful cranes slowly lift massive pieces of metal high into the air. Everything moves with patience and purpose. No one rushes. Every measurement matters. Every piece must fit perfectly. The ship they are building is unlike anything the world has ever seen. Standing beside it, even experienced builders feel small. Its steel walls rise higher every week. Its long shape stretches farther than most people can comfortably see. Many visitors stop outside the shipyard fence just to admire its size. Children point toward the enormous frame with wide, curious eyes. It's like a floating city, one little boy whispers to his father. His father smiles. In many ways, he replies, I think it will be. Inside the shipyard, engineers carry rolled-up blueprints beneath their arms. They gather around large wooden tables, discussing every detail with calm voices. Nothing is left to chance. They check every drawing twice. They solve each problem carefully. Their goal is simple, to build the safest, strongest, and most beautiful passenger ship ever imagined. As the morning passes, sunlight begins to shine across the steel hull. The great ship seems almost alive, glowing softly beneath the bright summer sky. The workers pause only briefly for lunch, sharing bread, tea, and friendly conversation before returning to their tasks. There is pride in every smile. Not because the work is easy, but because they know they are creating something that people may remember for generations. Far above them, seagulls circle quietly over the harbor. The gentle breeze carries the fresh scent of the sea. And with every passing hour, the dream called Titanic grows stronger, larger, and closer to completion. As the afternoon slowly fades toward evening, the workers look up once more at the giant ship standing before them. Tomorrow, they will return. There is still much to build. But one thing is already certain. The world has never seen anything quite like this. And the greatest journey is drawing one day closer. Welcome back, dear friend. Take another slow, gentle breath, and let your thoughts drift across the quiet waters of Belfast Harbor. The morning has passed, and the shipyard now hums with the steady rhythm of thousands of skilled hands. There is no rush here. Every task is completed with patience, care, and quiet pride. The Titanic grows a little more with every passing day. If you could stand beside her now, you would feel wonderfully small. Her towering steel sides reach high into the clear sky, while her graceful shape stretches farther than the eye can easily follow. Workers often stop for just a moment, not because they are tired, but because they cannot help but admire what they are creating together. Inside the great ship, another world is slowly coming to life. Carpenters gently polish beautiful oak walls until they glow with a warm golden shine. Skilled craftsmen carve delicate patterns into wooden railings, treating every detail as if they were creating a work of art. Electricians carefully install hundreds of lights that will one day brighten long hallways and cozy cabins. Plumbers fit pipes deep inside the ship, making sure fresh water can travel to every room. Each person knows that even the smallest job matters. Together, thousands of small tasks become one extraordinary achievement. At the very center of the ship, builders begin work on what many believe will become its most beautiful place, the grand staircase. Sunlight pours through the large glass dome above, filling the space with a soft, welcoming glow. Elegant wooden railings curve gently downward, while polished steps seem almost to invite future passengers to slow down and enjoy the moment. It is more than a staircase. It is a symbol of craftsmanship, elegance, and hope. Elsewhere, enormous dining rooms begin to take shape. Long tables wait quietly for families who have not yet arrived. Crystal lamps sparkle softly overhead. Fresh white tablecloths will soon cover every table, and cheerful conversations will one day fill these peaceful rooms with laughter. Even the libraries are prepared with care. Comfortable chairs are placed beside large windows where travelers will sit with a favorite book, watching endless blue waves roll gently across the Atlantic Ocean. Outside, the city of Belfast continues its daily life. People pause on nearby streets just to catch a glimpse of the great ship rising above the harbor. Children wave excitedly whenever they visit with their parents. Newspapers call her the largest moving object ever built by human hands. The word spread quickly from one town to another. Soon, people across Europe, and across America, begin speaking about a ship they have never even seen. A ship called Titanic. As the afternoon slowly fades into evening, a gentle breeze drifts through the shipyard. The sounds of hammers become quieter. The great cranes come to rest. One by one, the workers gather their tools and begin the walk home. Before leaving, many of them turn back for one last look. Bathed in the golden light of the setting sun, the Titanic stands peacefully beside the water. She is no longer just a dream. She is becoming a promise. A promise of adventure. A promise of new beginnings. And for thousands of future passengers, a promise of a journey they will never forget. As the stars begin to appear above Belfast, the shipyard grows quiet once again. The giant ship rests beneath the evening sky, waiting patiently for another sunrise, and another day that will bring her closer to the sea. Tonight, she sleeps peacefully. Tomorrow, her remarkable story will continue. Good evening, dear friend. As we gently return to the peaceful shipyards of Belfast, the air feels fresh, the harbor is calm, and another beautiful day is beginning. The great ship now stands almost complete. Months of careful planning, years of skilled craftsmanship, and countless hours of honest work have transformed a simple dream into an extraordinary reality. The Titanic rises proudly above the harbor, her graceful shape reflected in the still water below. The workers continue their final tasks with quiet confidence. Some carefully polish brass railings until they shine like gold in the morning sunlight. Others walk through long hallways, checking every door, every window, and every small detail. Engineers slowly move from room to room with notebooks in hand, making sure everything works exactly as planned. Nothing is hurried. Nothing is overlooked. Every person understands that perfection is found in the smallest details. Outside the shipyard, excitement grows with each passing day. Families travel from nearby towns simply to see the magnificent ship. Photographers carefully set up their large cameras. Newspaper reporters write stories describing the remarkable vessel that has captured the imagination of the world. Many people stand silently beside the harbor, amazed by her enormous size. Some smile. Some simply stare in quiet wonder. "It hardly looks real," an elderly visitor softly says. His grandson squeezes his hand and whispers, "Do you think she'll sail all the way to America?" The old man smiles warmly. "I believe she will." Soon, the day arrives that everyone has been waiting for. The shipyard fills with thousands of excited spectators. The sky is bright. Flags flutter gently in the breeze. The harbor sparkles beneath the afternoon sun. They check every drawing twice. They solve each problem carefully. Their goal is simple: to build the safest, strongest, and most beautiful passenger ship ever imagined. As the morning passes, sunlight begins to shine across the steel hull. The great ship seems almost alive, glowing softly beneath the bright summer sky. The workers pause only briefly for lunch, sharing bread, tea, and friendly conversation before returning to their tasks. There is pride in every smile. Not because the work is easy, but because they know they are creating something that people may remember for generations. Far above them, seagulls circle quietly over the harbor. The gentle breeze carries the fresh scent of the sea. And with every passing hour, the dream called Titanic grows stronger, larger, and closer to completion. As the afternoon slowly fades toward evening, the workers look up once more at the giant ship standing before them. Tomorrow, they will return. There is still much to build. But one thing is already certain. The world has never seen anything quite like this. And the greatest journey is drawing one day closer.